Hi, you guys. So I wanted to make a video today. I'm just coming from church, and I went to my Sunday school class this morning. And I recently relocated from Atlanta to Los Angeles, and this is going to be the first Christmas that I'm going to be experiencing away from, like, my friends and family and stuff. And today was the first day that I actually got emotional in front of people about that. And I wanted to make this video about how I or what I learned over the during the holiday seasons, and kind of how that transitioned after my father passed away. Um, so my father passed away on December 14th, 2010. Um, and it was a Tuesday. I will never forget that moment. My mother and I were. It was a Tuesday evening, so we were going to Bible study. But my mother was like dropping off like a turkey or a ham or something to one of the ladies in the missionary society that she's a part of. And so on our way there, my uncle, who passed away this year, my uncle called my mom. It's normal. And I figured if he was calling, it was about my dad because I knew that my dad was in the hospital. But we had made plans to go see him the next day anyway, or that weekend if he was still there, or what have you. If he was out, then I was going to see him that weekend anyway at one of my nephew's birthday parties. So it was going to work out. So my uncle calls my mom, and she's just like, kind of like, what? Like, what's going on? Or my dad's name was John. Like, what John did now? Like, what's going on? And all I remember her saying, she had the phone to her ear and she was just like, you're lying. Like, you're lying. And I'm in the passenger seat looking at mama like, come on with it. Like, come on with it. And I'm just like, I know that my father didn't die. Like, I know that. So, like, what is, did he fall? Is he sick? Did they find a tumor? Is it cancer? But my father's not dead. So, I'm just sitting there like, what's going on? And she looked at me. Um, I could kind of see like the fear in her eyes. And, she said, your daddy died. And I lost it. I went insane in that passenger seat. Like, I was freaking out, like belligerently crying, hollering, screaming, panicking, hyperventilating, whatever you could imagine in that little. I think my mom had like a PT Cruiser, so the car wasn't even big at that time. So I'm going crazy, and but mind you, my mother is driving. So, and we were almost at the lady's house to drop off the holiday baskets and turkey, ham, or whatever it was. And so, my mom, pulled into that neighborhood, grabbed the, she grabbed the whatever it was, and I whatever it was in the back seat, ran into the lady's house, gave it to her, ran back outside, and my mother was just trying to get me to calm. She was trying to calm me down, and there was no calming me down. And I think she knew that there was no calming me down. I kind of feel like you just know, like, some people say, oh, they were maybe numb when they found out. No, I went absolutely bananas. And she pulled me into my church has like a carport thing, and so she pulled into that, and I'm still just going crazy, going crazy. I think she ran in the church to like get somebody to help her get me out of the car, and I'm just like, it. I mean, it probably was like a scene from a movie, but I just could, every step, it was just painful. Like, I could not, would not accept it. I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you've literally got to be kidding me. And so, my pastor is praying for me. The education minister, the minister over the education ministry at my church was praying for me. And and they were out, if you're trying to like talk somebody off a ledge that's about to fall, they were like trying to like slowly but surely reel me back in. And the hospital that my father was in was about maybe like an hour and a half away. And I just remember I was just in a panic. Like, I didn't even know what to do. I did not know what to do. I didn't know how I was supposed to, what my next step should be. I remember it was it was just agony. I was hurt. I was hurt. And what got me to calm down a little bit, when they were praying and kind of talking to me, because it was just nonstop. um if you've ever seen like a baby that has, what's it called, colic, and they're just, they're sick and they're just crying, they're not hungry, they're not thirsty, they don't need to be changed, they're not sleepy, it's just that the crying is just so consistent. And they just told me, I remember them to, I don't remember, I feel like it was the Christian education minister. She just said, your mom has to drive, and I don't want you guys to get in an accident because your mom is so worried about you, and trying to calm you down. She said, so could you, and I remember she, it was calm. It was calm. It was steady. It was, the still consistent tone. She was like, can you calm down so that your mom can drive? And I'm like, I got exhaled, and I'm kind of like, okay, like I'm trying to just piece myself together. I tissue everywhere, probably looking all kind of crazy. And I'm just like, okay. And I don't know how long I had been in there. It probably was like 30 minutes, 40. I don't even remember. But we get in the car, and we head down the road. And my mom's calling, my aunts and cousins. And I think she called, like, did she, who else she was just, she was just calling, letting them, my uncles, letting them know, number one, where we were, because everybody knows, like, on Tuesdays we at church, so it's kind of like, that time frame, I know where you are. So but she was just calling to let people know what happened. And I just, every time I heard it, it just hit again. And she's like, oh yeah, John, she was like, John, John died, so my name is Pooh. So she was like, well, me and Pooh are headed down the road now. And it was just, every time I just heard her saying it, it just hit it. And I'm looking out the window, and I feel like it was raining that day. I just remember I'm staring out the window, and I'm just like, no, like, I don't believe it. And I was like, in my mind, I'm just like, I won't believe it until I see my dad, until I see his body. I, I'm having so much trouble accepting it. And so we get close. We get pretty close. Maybe we're probably about 25, 30 minutes out. And my uncle calls again and says that they had already moved his body downstairs. So basically, they took him from his hospital room down to like the morgue or whatever it is downstairs. So we couldn't see him. So I lost it again. Um, I believe I lost it again. I feel in my, if I recall that part correctly, I remember I was mad. I was just like, how could they do that? Like, we're literally on our way to the hospital. They couldn't wait like another hour. Like, I was so upset. And, I was just so upset. I just wanted to see my dad, and, all that, and just kind of hold his hand again. And it was just so much. And so after that moment, there was a lot of chaos, and, leading up to the funeral. But, God, I had the best friends in the world, the best support system in the world. Um, and I just, it was a lot. It was a lot. So during that time period I was on Christmas break. I was in 2010. I was a sophomore in college. So it was Christmas break. We probably had got out of school like that week, like the week prior, like, done with finals and stuff. And I had planned on doing a whole bunch of stuff. It's the holiday season. So, you have, everybody is pulling everybody in every direction. And, you know, by the time we got back home, my stepdad, I remember this. Um, I came home, walked in the house, and we, at that time, the house was like, it was like 3 levels to the house. So, but this door that I would walk in was the door that would put you in on the second floor. So you walk past like the living room, the kitchen, to go up some more steps to where my mother's room and my room was. And I remember I hit the steps, and my stepdad said, he said, Pooh, I'm sorry about your loss. And I said, thank you. And I broke down. Whew. And I broke down again. And I remember I was so out of it. And at that time, I was on a fast from like social media and some other stuff. I remember social media, but at the time, I had a Tumblr. Well, I have a Tumblr blog, and I wasn't really using it that much, so I didn't fast from Tumblr because I wasn't using it to like, communicate with people or catch up. Like I wasn't, it wasn't a distraction. So I remember I posted like a sentence on my blog, but my blog automatically was linked to like my Twitter and my Facebook, but I was still fasting from it. So I didn't even check it. So, and I remember and after I did it, I remember I hit the floor and and my best friend, one of my best friends, he called me and he didn't even know what to say. He just said, where are you? And I said, I'm home. And, another one of my good guy friends, he called. And I remember being up under my bed and I feel like I had an out of body experience. And I never thought that those things were real. And I remember laying on my floor under my bed, seeing myself laying on the floor under my bed, reaching for my phone. And I was just so crushed. I didn't even know what to do. I didn't know what I was supposed to feel. I didn't know. It was just a whole bunch of I don't knows. It was a whole bunch it was a whole bunch of I don't knows. And I'm going through this and I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you've got to be kidding me right now. And I wasn't like, I wasn't mad at God or anything. It was just so much. And I didn't have the capacity to take it in. So, so I'm going to fast forward. So my father he passed away on the 14th. His funeral was on the 28th. So it was 2 weeks of, preparation and stuff like that. And someone called me that she said, she saw it on Facebook that my father had passed. And she just wanted to offer me some, advice. And, people really don't know what to say when somebody passes away. And, it's kind of an awkward interaction. But when she said this, it made my world make so much sense. And she said, you have the right to feel however you want to feel. Basically saying, like, so if you want to cry, you cry. If you want to be mad, you mad. Don't let anyone take that right away. And I just bust out in tears again. And those tears weren't sad tears. I was so grateful that somebody said something that made sense to me. Because I was in a state of just in my room. I wasn't eating. My hair literally fell out. The morning after my father passed away, we were going to go get his stuff. And my hair was I probably had a perm or something at that time. Or I wasn't natural, we'll say. And but my hair was actually done. But I fell asleep any kind of way and I woke up and I was like, I'm just gonna throw this hat on, put my hair in a ponytail. I remember I went in my mom's room and I put my hair in a ponytail and the hair just fell out in my hand and I didn't even care. That I was just like, I didn't even care. And I love my hair. And the fact that like I just watched my hair fall out basically and didn't even shrug. I was just like, whatever, throws the hat on. Like, I got bigger things going on to be worried about that. But when she said, Kendra, don't let anybody take that right away. You have the right to feel exactly how you want to feel. And I still think about that day, that statement, that moment when I had my phone and she said that to me. And that and just trying to take so much stuff in, I was just like, wow. Wow. And so speed up over I'm speeding up. Um I'm getting it because it's on Christmas break, so a lot of things that I had planned to do over Christmas break that I couldn't do, or I just didn't care to do anymore. It was no longer a priority. So here we go. In January, I'm back at school, um, new semester, and I was a mentor in this mentoring program. It's called Young Women's Leaders Program, Young Women Leaders or Leadership Program. YWOP. And we were mentoring, the college students were mentoring junior high school students. And we're going around, it's the first Monday back. We're going around kind of everybody just kind of sharing, what they did over the Christmas break. And it got to me, and I said, well, my father passed away. Something along the lines of my father passed away. So I just spent the break kind of being with family and, doing his funeral and stuff. And then everybody kind of paused for like a split second. It was not long. And then we just went on to the next person. And we just carried on business as usual. And then I remember one of my peers, she was in my major. I think she was a year or two older. And she said, I don't think we acknowledged it enough. And she said, but she told me that, you're so strong, you're blah, 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 blah. And my mom, I'm like, girl, you just don't know how fragile I am when I could probably just break if the wind blows. But I remember being so grateful to God after that. Like during that, after the funeral and everything, and I was back in school, I remember being so grateful to God. And everybody just like, what? And I'm just like, I'm so thankful because I had time to be in that grieving stage, because my father could have passed away any time. He could have passed away during finals week, and I could have had to take a leave of absence from school. He could have passed away while I was at work, and I would have had to take time off and then my finances would have been an issue. But, God is so amazing, and he planned it so perfect. And I know that it was a part of his will, and I'm just like, my father passed away on December 14th. I had up until probably like January 7th or whatever that Monday following the New Year was, or Wednesday or whoever, to just be in that moment and to just be, to not have responsibility, to not be worried about, oh my goodness, I have homework and to be, I still had things that I had to, because you're never really on break. You're on break, but you don't break. And I just remember, I was just like, God, you are so awesome. I am so grateful. I appreciate you so much because you loved me. And I knew that you had this thing planned out way before I even knew that it was going to happen, and that you kept my mom here for me. You gave me a support system. You gave me, friends and family and kin. You gave me so many people and reminded me of how loved I was and I am. And you reminded me that you're truly my dad, and you gave me my earthly father for a while, but you're the eternal father. And once it started to click. It started to click, and I was just like, oh my goodness. But mind you, my father wasn't buried until December 28th. I still had to go through the Christmas season, and I was just like, I knew people were going to be asking me how I was, and I did not have an answer. There was no answer. I don't know how I am. I don't know how I'm doing. I don't know. But once it started to click that, God, you're so awesome, and you set this up so amazingly. I couldn't have prayed for a better God. Even at the funeral, I was just like, once I kind of calmed down and started getting to the flow, I was just like, God, you're so awesome. It's so much craziness. It's been so much chaos and foolishness going around. You know how it is when someone passed. You really see people's true colors. But I was just like, to God be the glory, because nothing on this earth matters. It's all material. And greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. So, bloop, it is what it is. But the purpose of me sharing my experience through that was just to show you that, even in the midst of it all, God is still in control. And that's what helps me get through the holiday seasons when it's tough and it's hard, and people are with their families, and people are taking Christmas photos with their mom and dad and dog and trees and whatever the traditions are. And I'm just kind of just there. I'm just kind of there during the holidays. I'm just kind of I was one of those, had that mindset, like, I just want to get through the holidays. I didn't want to be in it. I love the season. I love the season, but I didn't want to be in the season. I just wanted to be like, all right, let's get on to the new year. January, let's get it cracking. But just a reminder that God is truly in control, and He sets everything up for a purpose. You know, the Romans 8:28, my favorite scripture. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God and are called according to His purpose. So if you believe that and you believe in Jesus, then you'll be all right. Till next time.